Welcome to St Anne's podcast, this time for May 2015. So welcome back to this podcast for the month of May 2015. Now, it's quite a while since I did a podcast specifically for the parish, so here goes. And really, in many ways, this is just a talking newsletter, which is what these podcasts were about when I started them. So, what is going on in the parish at the moment? Well, there's quite a few bits going on, really. There's loads and loads of baptisms. Last year, I did 97 baptisms, and I did a count up on Sunday just gone, and I am already almost 20 baptisms in front of where I was this time last year. So if that keeps going on, we are going to push way over 100 baptisms this year, and I am already full for June, full for July, and obviously I'm not here in August, and then September, there's a lot of baptisms taken already. So it's amazing how many of these children are being baptised here at the moment. It would be lovely to encourage their parents to bring them to church. Wouldn't that be lovely? Oh yes, just let me have a look at this. Now then, we have a Readers' Day coming up. So for anyone who is a reader here at church, indeed, those that have put their names down to become readers. So if you are preparing to become a reader, then I'm always grateful, really, really grateful for anyone that helps out in any way that they do here in church. But our readers, sometimes we need to have a bit of a refresher course. And we are putting such a refresher course on very, very shortly indeed. Some people don't like to come out in the evening, so we're giving you two options. The first is Wednesday the 27th of May, and that starts at 7:30 and will go on till about 9 o'clock. And the second option for you is Saturday the 30th of May, starting at 10:30, finishing at about 12 noon. Now, you only need to come to one or the other of those. It's not that you need to come to both. So I would be very grateful if you would return the letters that have been sent out. And thank you once again for those. We're also working on a quiz and curry evening. If you remember, we used to have a quiz once a month, and although they were going for about maybe 6.5 years, I think they ran for, they did fizzle out in the end. But one or two people have asked, is it possible to do one or two quizzes a year? Well, very recently, we had somebody approach me about doing a quiz and curry evening to raise money for the Good Life Orphanage. Now, we're working on that, and that is going to be sometime in mid-July. That's kind of when we are looking at that. But there will be much more news and information about that much nearer the time. So what else is going on? Oh yes, I've got a wedding this coming weekend. The weddings, what have we had? We've had about 5 or 6 this year, and with about 3 more to come. So the weddings are picking up. 5 years ago here, I would have been having a busy year with 2 weddings. I think we've got 8 or 9 this year. So, please pray for all those people who are getting married. Also, as I am speaking to you, it is Tuesday morning, but our children yesterday started this year's SATs. So if we could have a little prayer for all of the children sitting their SATs tests this week. You also know that I am 1 year ago it is now, I can't believe where that year's gone. But last April, the Bishop asked me to become the chaplain to the Deaf Association across the Diocese of Salford. And you probably know, because I know I put it on our newsletter every week, that I do a Mass in Sign Language at 12 noon at St Patrick's in Collyhurst, that's St Patrick's Livesey Street. and that's at 12 noon every Sunday. So if you would like to come to that, you would be most welcome indeed. The deaf choir sing through the Mass, and it's an interesting Mass to go to. If you've never witnessed a Mass in sign language, I always think it is a very interesting thing to go along and have a look at. And who knows, it might spark off a proper interest, and you might then decide you want to learn sign language. So this is an open invitation to anyone, not just from our own parish, but anyone who would like to come and witness a signed Mass at 12 noon on Livesey Street at St Patrick's every Sunday. Oh yes, last week we had this collection for the Nepal appeal. That was that terrible, terrible earthquake in Nepal, and CAFOD asked for, financial help. Well, over £900 came in for that. So I'd like to thank everyone who gave towards that. Other things that are going on. Well, our art class is always on a Thursday night from 7 till 8:30 if you want to come along to that. That's every week through the year pretty much. Slimming World, again, on a Thursday evening. There's 2 classes there, one at 5, one at 7. That's pretty much every week of the year. Karate is on Tuesday evening from 6 till 7. All grades and all belts catered for. The sensei there is Paul, and I think he's a 4th Dan. So he can cope with just about anyone. That runs just not holiday time. That's only, it meets during the school term time. A little prayer for all our year 3s who last week were confirmed, and in just a couple of weeks will receive their first Holy Communion. So I ask you to pray not only for them, but for all the children throughout the diocese who will be receiving their first Holy Communion during June and July this coming year. Oh, now then, we are having a trip to Lourdes this year, and it's an interesting one, this, because when you know that every year we take a trip either to Lourdes or to the shrines of northern France. We go to various places, really. We went to Germany last year. But this year, when we tried to get the trip going to Lourdes, we had only about 8 or 9 people interested, and of course we need to fill a bus for that, so that wasn't possible. So we cancelled that trip, and Father Maloney and myself came across a trip that was being run by the Diocese of Shrewsbury, and we liked the way they were going. The Diocese of Salford this year is only flying, they're not offering an overland trip. But the Shrewsbury Diocese is allowing, this is the way they're going. We're going to go from Manchester to Calais by coach, and then Calais to Lourdes by TGV fast train. And we're going to, there's no tunnel this time, so you'll be able to get some food on the boat. Now, Father Maloney and myself decided that we would check out this year with the idea of opening this trip next year for people to come from the parish. But word got round that this is what we were doing, and there's a few people who have joined us this time. I think there's about 12, maybe 14 of us this time going. But anyway, those who are travelling to Lourdes by coach, please note that there will be a meeting here at St Anne's on Tuesday the 2nd of June at 7 p.m. And this is our Payout Night, so you have already paid a £100 deposit, so whatever's outstanding, please bring to this meeting. Cheques made payable to St Anne's Church, and in that way we can then just send off one cheque to the Shrewsbury Diocesan offices, and that will cut down on the work that they have to do. Cash is acceptable that evening as well. We ask you to please bring with you any paperwork that they've sent you, especially the one that has got your booking reference on. We need that before we can issue the cheque to them. So we'll talk at that meeting, obviously, about the pilgrimage. So please, if you can, please do try to attend that meeting. It's not that long before we're going. I think, I've just been counting up today, I think it's 10 weeks today that we set off to go to Lourdes. So please try and attend that meeting if you can. Okay, what else is going on? There's, obviously we're in the middle of the month of May now, and the Holy Rosary is said here in church every morning, Monday to Saturday, and it starts at about 10 to 9 each day. So if you want to come along and join in with that, you would be made most welcome. And lastly, there is a cemetery mass. Now, you know that we have a cemetery mass here in Droylsden the third week of every November. Well, there is also another deanery mass that happens, and that is happening this month on the 25th of May, and that is at Moston Cemetery. Now, that's for anybody who has family buried in Moston Cemetery, and that's Moston Cemetery, 25th of May at 11 a.m. Now, if for any reason it's raining that morning, they move it just down the road, and the mass will be at St Dunstan's. But if you would congregate just at the office there, when you go into Moston Cemetery, if you just go straight up the road on the left-hand side, about 100 yards up, there is the offices there. And if you congregate there, then you will be told where and when the mass will be. Okay, so that's basically it. So you can see there's plenty going on, and I hope that you've enjoyed this particular podcast. If there is any news, any meetings, anything that you want to put out on this particular podcast, please let me know. I'm going to try and do one of these now for every month of the year. That's what I'm hoping for. And who knows, I might even be able to slot 2 or 3 in, depending on what's going on in the parish. So, until next time, take care and see you all.